What is the horniest thing you have ever done?
I've told this story several times on here. In 93 or 94 we had a blizzard. It kept us out of school for 2 weeks at least, but it seemed like an eternity. I was 13 and recently started feeling those feelings. I was trapped inside for so long and had zero privacy. My door didn't even lock, and when I shut, someone would always want to know why. So, I did what any man my age would do. I got dressed and made my way through 3+ feet of snowdrifts and into the woods behind my house. I crawled down into a gully and started making a snowman in the shape of a woman on the ground. I gave her boobs, some curves and a hole. My heart was pounding and I was about to do some. I couldn't believe what I was about to do and started thinking, yep, I'm crazy. I tried to just walk away, but I was past the point of no return. I unzipped and got busy. I was done almost as fast as I started. I got up and brushed her away as if she meant nothing to me and climbed out of the gully, walked back to the house, went into my room and listened to Counting Crows or some beep like I didn't just have sex with a snowman. Every time it snows, I think of her.
Gift my empire because an NPC said something slightly sexual. In Civ 4 I used to befriend a neighbor, team up on someone, then backstab my neighbor. But for one game when I was 13 or 14, my neighbor was Catherine the Great of Russia. We beat up a Civ together, cementing us as BFFs in her mind, and then I tricked her into sending her army across the map. Just as I'm ready to kill her and take over the world, I open the prompt window to click war. And her 3D model does this hair flip and the text reads, "Is that a peace treaty in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?" Instant boner. Never in my life had anyone expressed any forwardness towards me and OFC crazy hormones for a 13, 14-yo. So the last 8 to 10 hours I spent building my empire was wasted as I start gifting everything to Catherine, reopening the prompt window every time just to see if she has any other sexual dialogue. She did not.
In WWE No Mercy Create a Wrestler mode, you could create a hot female wrestler and then have her wear an open jacket with nothing underneath. You couldn't see nipple, couldn't remove the jacket, N64 graphics, but still it was sexy.
Fell in love with a girl. Girl has to move back home to Costa Rica after 3 days of knowing her. Reasonable person, oh well, that's too bad, I liked her. Me, guess I'm going to Costa Rica.
Okay, super embarrassing, but once I got so horny during my 3.5-hour drive to university that I decided to pull over into an empty parking lot and deal with the issue. It was nighttime, BTW. I got my pants down and was making some good progress when I see headlights and the red and blue flash of a police car out my rear window. Oh no, it pulled in behind me. I was the only one around, so I knew it was there for me. I quickly righted myself, stepped out of my car, and made my way over to the policeman. With his flashlight shining in my eyes, he asked me what the heck I was doing in the parking lot of a closed office complex at 9 p.m. I panicked, and told him that I lost my way, and was just checking my highway map. He didn't look too convinced, but gave me some directions and told me to get on my way. I immediately did so. Needless to say, I never finished my task, but I no longer felt like I needed to. It's been my secret to this day.
Beep the couch to the sex scene in 300. I'm not proud of myself and I am pretty ashamed.
I was in a Vegas hotel room, pretty drunk and about to go to sleep, then I heard some high-pitched moaning from another room. Sweet. Started jerking. A few minutes later I realized it was not a girl moaning. It was a dog whining. FML. No, I didn't finish. I was traumatized.
Looked up porn on a 3DS when I was 11.
Before my high school girlfriend and I started having sex, she would let me sniff her pussy through her panties. I would then go home and jerk off. I still jerk off to that memory.
Horniest, cringiest, most, why was I such a beep thing I'll regret for the rest of my life. So 15-year-old high schooler me had this weird fetish for wanting to spread my fetishes. I still can't even fathom what I liked about it looking back. Some kind of masochistic, hey look at how beep weird I am, thing combined with wanting to be a special snowflake combined with some weird idea on how to meet people with similar fetishes. I don't really know. Anyway, it was the height of the brony craze and there was a lot of My Little Pony porn on the internet. I, being the maladjusted youth that I was, got balls deep into it. A random photo website was doing a promo for 30 free postcard-sized prints. I picked my top clop, folder which was all of my favorite pony porn drawings and ordered them. I then proceeded to hide these postcards all around the school. Little pony ass in places I knew would be shocking. I'd take a bathroom break and tape one to the wall in the hall everyone would be flooding into between classes. Hide them in the locker room. Slip them under doors. Glue them to the bathroom mirror. Slip one into the backpack of a girl I liked. Yeah, needless to say I hate myself looking back. Anyway, of course the school has security cameras, so I get called up and suspended. Parents throw me into therapy and take all of my electronics that have any access to the internet away for a year. No one actually found out it was me though outside of school administration, so at least I lucked the beep out.
Jacked off to a booby lighter at my grandma's house when I was 12. She still has it. It was one that lights up when you open the cap. If I can find a picture I will post it. Edit. Found it.
So my fiancé and I got together when we were 15. We were both the horniest beep on the planet. I would sneak him into my room in the middle of the night and we'd just go at it. It was the middle of winter when these events transpired. My fiancé and I had just finished an intense round of sex. We were chilling in bed when I mentioned my portable charger wasn't working. My fiancé is really handy with electronics and decided he would try to fix it. He bends down, picks up the charger, and starts messing with it. 5 minutes later I hear a hiss and the room starts filling with smoke. I look over at my fiancé and he has dropped the portable charger which is now on fire and he is repeatedly stomping on it with his bare foot while it spewed flames. I start panicking knowing what's about to happen next. I leap out of bed right as the fire alarm starts going off. I yell at my fiancé to hide in the closet while I handle the situation. My father had caught us before and threatened to put bars on my window if he caught us again. My horny brain couldn't stand the thought of not having our midnight sexcapades anymore. I wrap my naked body in a blanket and run as fast as I can up the stairs. By this time everyone in the house was awake. I tell my dad my portable charger exploded before yeeting myself back downstairs. I open my closet and tell my fiancé to get out the window, now. I watch my butt-ass naked fiancé scramble out of my basement window into the snow outside. My father and uncle burst into the room and spray the flaming battery pack with a fire extinguisher. Afterwards, my father tells me I'll be sleeping on the couch for the night. All the while, my poor fiancé is shivering outside, naked, for all the world to see. I managed to get him his clothes and sent him home for the night. My carpet and pride never recovered. TLDR. I hid my naked boyfriend outside in the middle of winter because I wanted to be able to keep beep at it. I'm glad you all get a kick out of this. My fiancé and I have been laughing so hard reading your comments. You should hear the story about the time we broke my futon, or my fiancé broke my window and I had to cover for him.
Drove 165 miles, one way, for a one-nighter.
I couldn't get this porn video out of my head all day that I had been using a lot. Was at the gym that evening and couldn't stop thinking of said video. Went to the gym back room and jerked one out in like 50 seconds.
Once, when I was 15, I had an oversized bomber jacket. I had recently lost my virginity so my hormones were all out of whack at this point, and in the middle of winter while walking down the street I had a brilliant idea. I pulled my arms into the jacket, tucked the sleeves into my pockets and as I was walking I decided to fap as I traveled home. The cleanup was not the best and the shame was immense. Edit. Holy beep, I did not expect this to blow up. Thank you everyone, long time lurker with more embarrassing stories lol, maybe I'll be featured on one of those Reddit YouTube videos. Thanks again guys, folded hands.
When I was around 12 to 13 I tried to create a fleshlight using an empty shampoo bottle, saran wrap, paper towels, and microwaved ramen noodles. Don't ask me how I thought it would work. Edit. Wow, my first gold is due to my failure to create a pocket puss out of ramen. At least that experience was good for something. Not sure what to say, so I'll say thanks. You're weird Reddit, but in a good way.
TLDR. Spent 24 hours in transit to bring 69 plastic penis to a hot babe was only supposed to be an hour and a bit Greyhound ride to her dorm room. She invited me, said she liked to get freaky. This was all pre-smartphone and pre-common sense, that grew in later? I decided to show up not with flowers or candy, but a vibrator. This was a booty call after all. Well, sex store was like 20 minutes on the city bus the other way, so I planned this trip that'd take me by it. Turned out there were more than 2 or 3 kinds of vibrators and I knew nothing about them. So the girl working the store educated me and played 20 questions, and next thing I knew it was an hour later and I'd missed the next run of that city bus. So that put me about 2 hours behind schedule. When I got to the Greyhound station I'd missed that bus too, and next one wasn't for 3 hours. But I was already there, packin' dildo. It was snowing too, so I just stayed in the station and had a grilled chicken sandwich at the little diner. It looked a little pink, but I figured it was just 'cause I had sex on the mind. Good thing I had 3 hours 'cause I spent 2 of them in the bathroom throwing up out of my ass. After a whore's bath in the sink, I did finally get out and catch my bus. But it was snowing too. That bus took something ridiculous like 5 hours to make the trek, and since it was now the evening bus, it didn't stop at the university. I didn't realize that, so I just watched it go by before I yelled at the bus driver like 10 minutes later. He couldn't go back, but was kind enough to drop me in the middle of nowhere. Turned out she gave up on me, 'cause, I guess, I was 8 or 10 hours late. Turned out she went to the bar. So no one picked up her phone when I finally found a payphone and called her. In the end a cop found me wandering in the general direction I thought the university was, and when he asked me, I just straight up told him the truth. He at least pointed me in the right direction of the school. It was the other way. Eventually I found her dorm. All girls dorm. Which I sat out in front of looking creepy and disheveled, in sugar shock from no nutrients, dehydrated, with basically a backpack full of a half-dozen dildos. I didn't know what kind would get her there, figured I could return whatever she didn't like. When she came home from the bar at 1 p.m., she said, "Really?" And I said, "Yes, and I really have a dozen sex toys with your name on them in my fanny pack. I got them engraved." We both passed out in her bed.
Wank, to completion, 12 times in one day. I was like 15, I think.
Made this account.
Let's see, I watched porn once and kissed the screen. That was pretty gross.
I was 15. I had to pick up trash around the bleachers the morning after a high school football game as a form of detention. I'm at the top of the bleachers. About 2 rows down from me is a hot Hispanic girl. She bends over to pick up trash and boom. No bra, loose-fitting shirt. I can see everything. I had never had a girlfriend and had never seen breasts IRL. It made me so horny that I couldn't think straight. About 5 minutes later we finished up and were released. Instead of going home, I head to the school gym. It was empty and dark. Ended up rubbing one out under the bleachers. I straight nutted on the bare floor under the bleachers.
GTA strip club.
I would purposefully wear a skirt every day in high school so I could hook up with my ex after class in empty classrooms or stairwells.
I pretended a plum was a pussy and proceeded to eat it out.
I'm pretty sure I've got the dumbest story here. Back when I was in high school, I was home alone and got hungry, so I decided to cook for myself. Someone in my family bought a bag of udon noodles and I figured now would be a good time to eat them. I tossed them in a pot of water and cooked them on the stove as per the directions. As they were boiling on the stove, I decided I wanted to try one to see how well they were cooked before I dumped out the water, so I got a fork and scooped a noodle out of the pot and ate it. For some reason, the act of chewing the noodle in my mouth made me insanely aroused. I didn't understand the connection, but I assumed it was the texture of the noodle that caused it. So like any rational person, I decided to strain the noodles out in the sink, and then using my hands, scooped the noodles out of the strainer and carried them into the bathroom as they dripped water all over the floor. Then got in the shower, udon noodles in my hands and proceeded to beep the mass until I came. Let me tell you, the embarrassment of realizing you just beep a pound of cooked noodles doesn't compare to the humiliation of having to sit in a shower pulling bits of crushed noodle out of the drain so your parents don't find out.
In college I made myself a fleshlight out of a rolled up towel, a rubber band, a latex glove, and some vegetable oil. Worked pretty well. Thinking myself a genius, I told my buddies so they could frugally fornicate with themselves as well. Bad idea. Caught a lot of beep for a long time after that.
I was waiting on my car to get serviced and I was so horny in the waiting room that I used Lyft so I could go home and jack off.
Voluntarily sat through a Twilight movie at the theater. Smashed though.
Cucumber. That's all I have to say.
So there I was, both arms broken.
Came in my girlfriend's ass right as my grandma entered the room. I can't make this shameful beep up.
I was about to comment, but NDM. I don't want to be associated with you all.
Helped my girlfriend make cupcakes.
That's how I got my name.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.